Gather around, my friends. Let me tell you about the things that hide in the dark. The whispers that send chills down your spine. The shadows that dance in the corner of your eye. These are tales of horror, of suspense, of the things that go bump in the night. Are you brave enough to face them? Our first story begins on a quiet street, much like yours or mine. The houses stood silent, shrouded in the darkness of a moonless night. But in one window, a light flickered. Someone was watching, waiting. They say curiosity killed the cat, but in this case it was something far more sinister. A presence, unseen, unheard, but always felt, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when it did, it left nothing but silence in its wake. This is just the beginning, my friends. There are many more stories to be told. Are you ready to hear them? Dare to look too closely at their own reflection. Our next story takes us into the digital age, where the line between reality and the virtual world becomes blurred. In this age of technology, where information flows freely and boundaries are often crossed, there exists a realm that few dare to explore. Have you ever heard of the dark web? It's a hidden part of the internet, shrouded in mystery and often associated with illicit activities. But beyond the illegal transactions and secret dealings, there are stories that speak of something far more sinister. A hidden corner of the internet where secrets are traded and nightmares are born. It's a place where the digital and the supernatural intersect, creating a space where the unimaginable becomes reality. It's said that if you listen closely enough to the static, you can hear whispers. These whispers are not just random noise. They are believed to be voices from another dimension trying to communicate with our world, voices from the other side. Some say they are the spirits of those who have been lost to the dark web, trapped in a digital purgatory, forever trying to reach out to the living. A group of friends, bored and looking for a thrill, decided to see if the rumors were true. They had heard the stories, the urban legends, and they wanted to experience it for themselves. They gathered in a darkened room, huddled around a laptop, and ventured into the depths of the dark web. The air was thick with anticipation and a hint of fear as they navigated through the shadowy corners of the internet. At first, there was nothing but the hiss of static. The screen flickered, and the room was filled with the eerie sound of white noise. But then they started to hear it, faint whispers, barely audible at first, but growing louder with each passing second. Faint whispers, growing louder, more insistent. The voices seemed to be speaking directly to them, calling their names, urging them to listen. Voices calling their names, urging them closer. The friends felt a chill run down their spines as the whispers became more distinct, more demanding. And then the static on the screen began to swirl, forming a face that seemed to be made of shadows and static, its features twisted and grotesque. A grotesque, distorted face with eyes that seemed to burn into their souls. The friends were paralyzed with fear, unable to look away from the horrifying visage. Terrified, they slammed the laptop shut, but it was too late. The image of the face was burned into their minds, and the whispers continued to echo in their ears. The whispers continued, following them home, haunting their dreams. No matter how hard they tried to forget, the voices were always there, lurking in the shadows. They had opened a door that could never be closed, and now something on the other side was coming for them. The friends realized too late that some doors are better left unopened, and some whispers are better left unheard. Our journey takes us to a place of both healing and suffering, a place where life and death walk hand in hand. This is the abandoned hospital, a relic of the past that has seen countless stories unfold within its walls. The abandoned hospital stood on a hill overlooking the town, its presence a constant reminder of the fragility of life. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out into the night, reflecting the moonlight in a haunting manner. Locals whispered tales of patients who checked in but never checked out, their souls forever trapped within the crumbling walls. The hospital's walls, once pristine and white, now crumbled and decayed, bearing silent witness to the passage of time and the countless lives that had passed through its doors. They spoke of strange noises echoing through the empty corridors at night, moans, screams, and the sound of metal scraping against the floor. The sound of metal scraping against the floor was particularly unsettling, as if the hospital itself was trying to communicate its pain and sorrow. One night, a group of teenagers, emboldened by youthful bravado and a thirst for adventure, decided to explore the abandoned hospital. They had heard the stories, but their curiosity outweighed their fear. They snuck onto the grounds, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. As they stepped inside, the air grew heavy, thick with the smell of decay and disinfectant. The silence was eerie, broken only by the sound of their own footsteps echoing on the tile floor. The smell of old disinfectant mixed with the musty odor of decay created an atmosphere that was both unsettling and oppressive. Their footsteps echoed through the empty corridors, each step amplifying their sense of isolation and vulnerability. They wandered through the abandoned wards, past rusty beds and overturned wheelchairs, each room seemingly colder than the last. The sight of the rusty beds and overturned wheelchairs added to the sense of desolation, as if the hospital had been abandoned in a hurry, leaving behind a ghostly imprint of its former self. Each room they entered felt colder than the last, the chills seeping into their bones and heightening their sense of dread. And then they heard it, a faint scratching sound coming from the end of the hallway. The sound was barely audible at first, but it grew louder and more insistent as they approached. Curiosity got the better of them, and they slowly made their way toward the sound, their hearts pounding in their chests. The hallway seemed to stretch on forever, each step bringing them closer to the source of the unsettling noise. As they approached the last room on the right, the scratching grew louder, more frantic. It was as if whatever was making the noise was desperate to be heard. They cautiously peeked inside and gasped in horror. There, strapped to a gurney, was a skeletal figure, its bony fingers scratching desperately at the metal restraints. The sight was both terrifying and heartbreaking. Its eyes, though long since gone, seemed to follow their every move. Terror lent them speed, and they fled the hospital, the image of the skeletal figure seared into their minds. They never spoke of that night again, but the memory of the abandoned hospital and its ghostly inhabitant continued to haunt their dreams. The experience left an indelible mark on their souls, a reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead. They carried the weight of that night with them, a silent bond that connected them in their shared terror. And though they tried to forget, the memory of the abandoned hospital and its ghostly inhabitant continued to haunt their dreams, a chilling reminder of the unknown horrors that lurk in the shadows.